What is poppin', squad? And here we are at the beginning of July 2018. Division PvP has had a lot of changes since this update, obviously with the big changes to Predator and the big changes to the way Reclaimer works, and obviously the fact that Striker has been like Big Daddy in the DZ. So one thing that a lot of people have been obviously going back and forth is some people are saying that skill is way more important in this meta, and a lot of people are saying skill is definitely not more important in this meta. So my breakdown on it is a lot different than most people. So I'm both sided, and the reason I'm both sided is because in different situations I feel personally that skill applies, and then sometimes it really doesn't. So for example, going manhunt against a server, obviously there's so many variables that change. Whether you get a bad server full of just like bots that kids are that just don't know what they're doing, running crazy builds or whatever, you can easily go manhunt regardless of what your skill. As long as you have the right gear set on, you're good, right? It's skillless. Like right now, the gameplay you're watching, me and Lit were just going duos on a server, and I mean, no disrespect to anybody who was in this server. I'm just saying, but it's not like we had to like put our heads together really, really hard in order to do this manhunt. Obviously, people rushed in by themselves, and people tried this and tried that, and you do not need skill to do that. That's why I don't post too many manhunt runs anymore, because I don't feel like they're as impressive as they used to be, only because of the power that you have when you're running Predators or when you're running Striker or when you're running a full team. It's pretty much easy. So where does skill apply? Now, they're just like with any PvP game, you're going to come across players who are just as good, if not better than you. That is pretty much the only time you would truly feel like skill is necessary, when you're going against other skilled players. A majority of the game, a majority of the manhunt runs, a majority of the PvP encounters are easy. Unless you come across that team who knows exactly how they want to play, and they're playing group synergy and stuff. That's the only time you really need skill to overcome them. But when people ask me to post videos of me going solo manhunt or going manhunt with my group or whatever, I don't really feel impressed with myself, because I know while I was playing it how easy it is to get these manhunts, or how easy it is to beat these kids and these other players who are using mediocre builds, because some people really refuse to use the meta, and all respect to them. I mean, I respect it 100%. I understand what it is. That's why I make all kinds of different builds and options for people. But realistically, Striker is so good in this meta that it's like you can completely dominate a server by yourself running the 9K version easily. I'm not saying you can't do it with the 7K version, but the 9K version makes it just so much easier because of face tanking, and how thirsty people are for kills, and the fact that you get your heal up so bad or so fast, and the fact that you get so much damage for free, and it's not hard landing stacks. You add all these different things, and I feel personally, when you're a good player, your skill doesn't matter anymore. Obviously, if you're a rookie, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to strafe, and you don't know how to get in 1v1 situations, obviously that matters. But I feel like most people who are still playing the game are pretty much veterans. And then you add in the new people who, obviously, I mean, you can't even consider them, I don't know, you can't even consider them threats in that sense, because they're still learning the game, and you can't hold it by them, especially if they're newer players in it easy because of the Game Pass sales and a lot of the promotion for Division 2. You have a lot of new 30s that you're running into that have builds, they're just not Striker builds, and what's going to happen is you're going to run through them even if it's a 4 team of them. And I think that's why I feel skill is starting to be less and less important, especially right now, because of how good Striker is in a solo situation, and how good Predator can be as far as damage. There's a lot of things that you can ask yourself, like, man, is this really impressive? Like, is this something where I can post this and people are like, dude, you're a beast? Or is this like, that's nothing new? We can all do that. We can all go solo manhunt. I know most of you who've played Division since beta or 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, if you can't go solo manhunt ever with a Striker build, then obviously that reflects a lot on your skill, because the gear set can carry you by itself. As long as you know how to shoot and move around and know when to pop your heals, pretty much the gear set does all the work for you. And I'm not saying that Striker takes no skill. Obviously, people are gonna say, well, you still need to get your stacks, which is, I mean, it's not that hard to shoot somebody. Yes, people have better accuracy than others. Some people keep their stacks longer than others, which that would be a skill ceiling, but it's not It's not like one striker can completely be utter trash and the other one could be completely amazing. No, because a striker, you're at some baseline where you're okay. As long as you know how to play the game, you're okay. Yes, you run into strikers who are buns compared to you, but obviously that's your personal experience. If you're a better player than them, you're gonna beat them no matter what. But because striker gives so much sustainability as far as damage and predator with the bleed, and then people coming in with their teams, it changes what skill is necessarily needed for. And I personally feel when it comes to striker, less skill is needed, but obviously there's a high reward if you're really good, because then you're that much more OP. And I think that's where people misconstrue the idea that when people say striker takes no skill, they're like, what do you mean this takes more skill than the rest of the builds? I'm not saying it does not take skill, because I know a lot of players like Gourmet J who make striker seem 10 times more OP than what it should be. And I know myself personally, I run a lot of different variations of striker that I feel like, man, this is like crazy. Like this, it makes everything so much easier. But at the same time, I mean, we've said it. It's already been acknowledged. Striker is definitely the S tier build, and everything else is pretty much a B plus. At max, at maximum, everything else is a B plus, and that's a whole 2 tiers above everything else. But at the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't change whether or not people should run it or not, because I feel the only thing people are complaining about now is the showstopper variation. Even though I'm kind of confused, other than the fact people saying that the stacks are too fast, which I understand, but that's always been the case. I mean, it's not like they changed anything. It's just that nobody was complaining about it. But now that there's no more shotgun, SASG and Super 90 people flooding, now they hop to the next best thing, which is going to be the showstopper. And people are you know, rallying to get showstopper removed or the stacks change on that, which I'm completely fine with. I pretty much use it to farm my stacks. That's the only thing I use it for. I don't really use it as my premier weapon. I've never really ran into Cronus. I know that's a problem on PlayStation 4. People say they're running around with Cronus Max showstopper, and I believe you guys. I'm just saying, in my experience, I guess I've been lucky enough not to run into it. So the problem I see with that is, as soon as they remove showstopper, what's going to happen is people are going to hop to the next best thing. And I mean, obviously there's not really much to work with other than the fact that you can get your stacks easy with SMG, with AR, with whatever. And I don't want them to destroy the build because there's nothing else for people to complain about, so they go to the next best thing. So as far as whether or not skill is a factor in the Dark Zone anymore, I personally feel you need less skill after playing it, after evaluating, watching videos. I know people are saying it takes more skill to be good in this meta, obviously, because there's not as much cheese. But as far as doing well in the DZ, and this is different than just the general DZ. The general DZ is more skill based because there's less super cheese, right? There's no more SASG spam. There's no more ultimate pred bleed that is uncounterable. The whole DZ overall takes more skill, but as far as to do good in the DZ, as far as go manhunt, as far as body somebody, 1v1, 1v2, 1v3, 1v4, 1v server, all these things, I personally feel it's easier if you're at a certain level of skill that's normal. So if you're a veteran player, you should have no problem going solo manhunt in this meta, even if you're not the most fantastic player in the world. I've seen people who don't even PvP just hop on their stream and say, let me just try this, and they go solo manhunt. So it's not that important anymore. It's not that impressive. I don't know what it would take to impress me personally, but honestly, I just feel like Striker's that good where at the end of the day, you know, anybody could do it, and that's why I don't really gloat too much on it. And then that's why I don't really speak on my 1v1, 1v2, 1v3, 1v5, 1v20s, because it's truly not that hard. And I got to keep it real with you guys. I'm not gonna front like I'm just this magnificent, unbelievable pro player that is just bodying people. Like, you guys see me, I go manhunt all the time. It's a habit, but at the end of the day, it's partially because the gear sets allowed me to. I've tried with a lot of builds and I'm able to. I've went with tactician builds, firecrest builds. I've done it with everything. It's just, I feel like the skill cap, people rely too much on the gear sets, and they kind of lost the true skill ceiling, if that makes sense. So let me know what you guys think, man. That's my personal opinion on the skill asset of the division. I mean, you may disagree, you may agree. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. So let me know, is skill still a thing in the division, and how important is it? Let me know in the comments below. Slap me a like and subscribe. It's been real. Your boy is out.